All right, we're live. Buff Nation, I'm sorry I don't got my music loaded yet in this platform yet. But y'all smash that like because we got a commitment party going on. We got Chauncey Gooden, who is, in my opinion, I mean, no shade at the other guys. I want all of them. I want a clean sweep. But he was the second most important guy that was visiting this weekend. He was the guy that I wanted the most after Julian Lewis, of course, and Phil Loadholt. Phil, all my guys know their assignments. Loadholt coming in clutch again, getting a fantastic commitment. Another 320-pound plus offensive lineman that's going to be coming here to Boulder. Fantastic. How are you guys feeling about this? Y'all let me know in the chat. We'll get to some highlights here in just a little bit. And yes, I mean, how can you not start to feel this way? Julian Lewis is next. And maybe this is why Phil Loadholt only signed that 1-year deal. He's like, yeah, I'm going to parlay this into a big-time payday after this year. When we see our guys knowing their assignments, and then we see a big pipeline, figuratively and literally, coming here to Boulder in the years to come. And right now, man, it's starting with Chauncey Gooden. I'm loving it. So y'all be sure to smash that like. Let me know your thoughts on this recruiting weekend. But, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about Julian Lewis right now. I mean, the keys. Shador's not handing Julian Lewis the keys for no reason, right? But, man, Phil Loadholt, I don't give a damn. He's doing work in them trenches. See, you cannot let him leave. Absolutely right. Up the SCO, says Jeremiah G. Absolutely. I'll get to more comments after I pull up the huddle tape, because if you haven't seen Chauncey Gooden just absolutely destroy people on the football field, we're going to take a look at this right now, okay? Put in huddle tape. We'll pull this up. I'm going to let you guys watch the advertisements they got on here, and we'll get this thing rolling. But hey, want to give a shout out to everybody who showed up. I was in Crested Butte this weekend, but there were a handful of people that showed up to welcome the recruits, welcome Julian Lewis, everybody to campus. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Laura Levy putting together those posters that went up around town, which was awesome. Shout out to Peggy, 99 years old, being a part of the recruiting pitch. And when we're talking about MMA breakdown, was Coach Prime the right hire for CU? Yes, obviously. And it's things like this, bringing Peggy into the fold, that just make it's just the right fit here. This wouldn't work maybe at some other schools because other people let their egos get in the way. But they got a strategy. They're sticking to it, and they got the freedom to see that out to its fullest here at CU, which I think is just fantastic. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and roll the tape, get y'all's thoughts on all this as well. All right. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. But yeah, 320 pounds. Oh, okay. You want to give him the football? Are you kidding me? You want to give him the football? He can play a little bit of running back too. He already hit up Dwayne Morris. Who's Dwayne Morris? You got to let me know. Mike, when we're getting a congratulations from Nebraska's fans, you know we're doing something pretty interesting, pretty good. Appreciate it, Mike. Can't wait for week 2, man. No more 6'2", 275-pound guards. That's the size of the tight ends that I want. Except, sorry, not 6'2". You got to be 6'5". But, man, I'm feeling great now. This is a great point right here. Gooden is a top 10 interior offensive lineman. Plays for a top 25 national team. This was a very good pickup for the Buffs. Yes, Lipscomb Academy. I've seen them play on ESPN last year. If I remember correctly, I was at a bowling alley and they were on ESPN, and I believe they might have lost, but I think it was a close game. But anytime you're on ESPN as a high school program, as long as you're not Bishop Sycamore, that's something to be respected. Now, Antoine Hill, he's gonna do his thing. He can do his thing, but we've upgraded. We've upgraded. I'm gonna do the typical college football fan recruiting stuff and say, yeah, that guy who left us, forget it. We got something better coming our way. Hey, if we got the same NIL package, we're in the same range as Auburn. We're already ahead of USC. And I guess that they're fans that don't give to the program, I guess. What is going on with USC? You got a coach like Lincoln Riley, but you fail to put the right pieces around whatever quarterback that they got. Maybe Juju Lewis is kind of looking at USC from that type of angle. Like, okay, you can always get the good quarterbacks, but are you going to have the beef that CU's going to have up front or Auburn? But forget about Auburn. Would you rather live in beautiful, sunny Colorado? Would you rather live in like humid, armpit Alabama? I don't know. It's hot. It's humid. We got to deal with snow here mainly in January, February, March, but that's not during the season. We don't gotta stress about the weather too much. During the football season, the weather here is great. MMA breakdown saying, man, I can't wait for the season to begin. Our defense is fire and the offense is fire times 3. Yes. And I think it was really cool when I did my top 5 breakout players video that I posted yesterday. I think I had, a couple defensive linemen on there. And a lot of you guys in the comments as well had 2 or 3 defensive line front 7 players on there as well. I think we're going to see a big time improvement with us stopping the run. It's going to be beautiful. This is going to be a beautiful jump to watch this year, guys. It's going to be great. I'm going to say it. Of course, this isn't a hot take or anything, but man, I just, how are we not hitting the over on this? How are we not going to a bowl game? How are we not surprising some people this year? I just feel so good. Hey, I appreciate it, Ryan Nicole. Hope you're doing well. Got the Ralphie horns on for the celebrations. And I love this. It's a little tight around my hat, but it is what it is. Hopefully it looks okay. But we know what looks best is Chauncey Gooden pancaking dudes on the football field, which is what he's doing right now. And he's about to pancake in the recruiting game as well. If you saw that little Instagram live that he did, he said, hey, if you're a recruit for the Buffs and you're not committed yet, I'm coming for you. So you know who that is, Chauncey Gooden. And I saw that we have offered one of Julian Lewis's offensive linemen as well. Dwayne Morris, 4-star athlete that is committed to USC. Gooden and him are good friend, are boys, I guess. Good friends. Yes. Okay. Let's continue to build this pipeline. Who do we got? We got Zach Owens, Peyton Kirkland, Jordan Seaton, Hank Zielinskis. I know I'm missing some, but that's a great young pipeline to build around. Flick, flack, flack, saying this kid's got some grit to him. Yes, and I think he moves pretty well for a big dude. Like, he moves those feet pretty quickly, if you ask me. Byron Wilson. Trent Dilfer was the high school coach at Lipscomb. I did not know that. Super cool. Oh, man. This is the best pun I've seen all day. USC lost their juju. Absolutely. Hey, it's a new age. And there's some tweets that I have bookmarked from other people that I'll bring up after this highlight tape closes, because I'm going to keep this live stream going for a little bit, y'all. Y'all be sure to smash that like and let me know your thoughts on the recruiting weekend. I'm sure Chauncey Gooden isn't the last one out of this weekend that's going to commit, right? I mean, since when have we whiffed that much? We don't do that anymore. So this is going to be fun. I love it. Quanell X Farrakhan Jr, dude, that guy's a playmaker. Of course, Julian Lewis, he's the key to the whole thing. But, Shador's handing him the keys. You got to feel good. You got to meet Peggy. Peggy, just put him in the will. We're set. Yes, Evan Haynes, like that. I believe Evan Haynes is the 6'3" wide receiver that we had coming out here. Quanell's the guy from Houston, if I'm not getting my wires crossed. But we're going to have weapons. We're going to have offensive linemen. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things that I've bookmarked. As you can see, Russ, I have your tweet bookmarked here. Let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit on this. All right. Hopefully that looks better, right? Doesn't that look better? Maybe I'll make my face a little bit bigger, like this platform. Yes. So I'll do an individual video on this later, but analysts, quality control coaches, they're going to be able to provide instruction during games. Russ, you bring up this great point. This has to go with recruiting guys that are like Chauncey Gooden, Juju Lewis, all this. We could benefit from this because of Coach Prime's connections with ex-teammates. This would allow them to take smaller roles to work with the kids, be scary good for this team if it finally passes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So that's going to be voted on, according to Pete Nakos. Yeah, here's that little tweet. Gucci had this out here, and, I responded with a slime gif because, he's slimy, man. I love this stuff. But he's saying he's coming for everybody, man. Okay. Phil, let me rephrase myself. Coach Phil, all my guys know their assignments. Loadholt is building something special at Colorado. Here are a few offensive linemen he's already landed. 5-star Jordan Seaton, 4-star Chauncey Gooden, 4 stars Tyler Johnson, Justin Mayers, 3-star Khalil Benson. Oh, and 3-star Yakiri Walker. Shout out to Mas Cisneros. He created this jersey swap for Juju for all content creators to use. Thank you so much. Y'all, please go show him some love. Now, this was the other thing I was wanting to get at. Matt H, ScoBuffs22, big shout out to him. Big part of what's going on here at CU. If you're not following him, what are you doing, man? Go follow him. He's going to give you fantastic, up-to-date news and little tidbits like this. I asked Andrew Nemec, the director of recruiting at SB Live Sports, they cover high school football, if Julian Lewis's recruitment to CU reminds him of anybody else's in his time covering high school sports, going back more than a decade. Okay? And this is what he said. Great question. I've seen lots of hype for an official visit many times, but here's why it's different. It's the NIL era. More is allowed. The theater, the burger joint. And Colorado is so social media friendly in ways that people are always talking about good and bad. Unlike most coaches, Deion Sanders has embraced the power of transparency and the big social media movement. It remains to be seen how effective or positive that truly is, but it is undeniably popular and much discussed. With all of those factors, Lewis's official visit felt different than anything else I've seen. Wow. And I would say that, again, I feel like there's so much more positive that's going on here than negative. And again, you have to, like Joel Klatt said, you have to look at the starting line for Colorado with where we were at, raising this program from the dead. That's just how it is. Guys, give me 1 second. Man, we'd lose our marbles just seeing that we've been included in a top 10 or top 15 from a 4-star guy before, like a shot Clay. Now it's actually realistic that we can get these guys. And it's insane. It leaves me lost for words half the time. Scott Proctor's put out a article on Chauncey Gooden. He was the alpha dog during the Under Armour camp in April. Y'all be sure to check that out. But 6'4", they got On3's got him listed at 330. Good Lord. Good Lord. What if our average weight on the offensive line is like 330 pounds? Wow. Our starting 5. Wouldn't that just be crazy? But it feels great to get another win over Oregon, Auburn, Georgia. A lot of great programs were going after him. Again, he's one of the top interior offensive linemen in the country. So as you could see through that highlight video. And then this is what I was wanting to get at before I get to more of your comments. Shador right here, handing the keys to Julian Lewis. Julian just looks perfect in black and gold. Of course, where he's at in Carrollton, Georgia, I believe. They're black and gold. It just makes sense. And if he truly connected with the unique family atmosphere that is here, it's over. I think we can get this thing done. If USC is losing steam in this, and Josh Newberg from On3 said that he would put USC in position 3 right now, I'm just not. I'm more worried about USC than I am Auburn when it comes to quarterbacks. Right? Isn't that how y'all feel about it too? Like, if we've jumped USC, I feel like it's going to be over. And like, Auburn's a good program. Don't get me wrong. But do you really want to go to the second best program in Alabama? I don't know. If we're going to have the same money, if not more, or compensation, it's all in range. We get to play in the Big 12, national TV every game, all that, the NIL, like that expert discussed. It's hard for you got the offensive line coming in here. It's hard for me to see why you wouldn't choose Colorado over Auburn, right? Right? Like, Colorado has the chance to be a big time player in college football with Julian Lewis as the quarterback. If you go to Auburn, you're just at another school that, in my opinion, probably isn't ever gonna challenge for that SEC title. I know that's probably a hot take and it would upset some Auburn fans, but that's just how I feel about Auburn. I know they've won a national title before, but hey, that's just me. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to what some of y'all got to say. That's right. Got to celebrate it. Got to celebrate it when we get the Ralphie horns going. Now it's time to start landing some of those big DTs. Yeah, let's take a look at the visits again, just to summarize what we got. And it's been a fantastic weekend so far, guys, and I think it's going to get better. Julian Lewis said in that interview that he wants to make all of his decisions and whatnot before his high school season starts. So, yeah, I think for his advantage, as well as whatever program he chooses, hopefully it is CU, that we can have this commitment set in stone before the season starts. And that way it's going to allow us to put the best team around him as possible. So Alex Graham, this was something that I missed before I went on vacation. He ended up showing up to the official visit as well, which was great because we had then 3 guys who were already committed on this visit. 3 guys for 4 guys that are uncommitted to the Buffs. So Mantrez Walker joined Alex Graham, and Corbin Laisure was there as well. Then again, right now we're warm with these wide receivers. Quanell X Farrakhan Jr. and Evan Haynes out of Georgia. I really like these guys. And hey, I'll never say no to size, especially at the wide receiver position and the offensive line. And of course, Julian Lewis right there up top. We've made it into the top 3 at the very least. Now let's make sure we do whatever we need to do to make sure we set ourselves apart from the rest. That's for damn sure. But things are looking great. Again, guys, like the recruiting power of Coach Prime and this staff, Phil Loadholt, everybody, it's just on another level. When you're starting to beat out schools like Clemson. And I know Clemson, they're kind of a meme now, but stop it. They're a very good program still. And the fact is, if we can challenge schools like Clemson, start getting these guys that are top 10 at their position in the nation, I mean, I feel like this year really is just the beginning of what's to come with what's being built. It just takes a little while. That's all. Got the right coaches in place. Got better recruiters in place now. But again, Phil, all my guys know their assignments. Loadholt. Might need to tattoo that on myself if we go undefeated this year. Yes, Heart of Sports. Good to see you. Good to see you. Chauncey is a big-time commitment. Yes, this cannot be overlooked, guys. This cannot be overlooked. Again, I just don't put on the Ralphie horns for no reason. The Buffs are stacked for 2025, getting some tickets. Yes, and let's take a look at where we are for our class, shall we? Okay, we're 77th. We're getting there, which is higher than where we're at for high school this year. But hey, this is a wonderful four now. Chauncey Gooden, Alex Graham, Mantrez Walker, Corbin Laisure. And again, we got a lot of great talent that's been visiting, whether it's been official visits or unofficial. And I think this is just the first domino to fall from this weekend. Chauncey Gooden. I'm praying to the football gods for a clean sweep on this recruiting weekend for sure. If this was the most important weekend in Buffs history, man, we better sweep. Beautiful stuff. Like, guys, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. This is the best way to start a Monday. And there's going to be more. There's going to be more. And I love the fact that we have so much to look forward to with this team. The talent is just so much better. And it's going to be great playing in the Big 12. And now we got stuff in 2025 and forward to look forward to. But Eric Morris, good to see you. Juju is coming. I can feel it. I feel it too, man. I feel it too. I've been a little on the fence of like, well, I don't want to get my hopes up too much because obviously these other schools have some great things to offer, but just the vibe that you could see from this weekend, it just felt like it went to perfection. That's just how it felt. Okay. It felt like it went to perfection. And again, shout out to everybody who woke up, got their butts down to Boulder Saturday morning to welcome all the recruits in, to welcome Juju Lewis in. Shout out to the Sink. Got to get myself one of those past precision burgers or whatever they're called. The Juju burger. Sounds tasty to me. Kenny, Mike, Shirley, good to see you. I love it. And we're only, 2 months away from football season. I'm a bit sad because we got the last game of the Stanley Cup. And, of course, the NBA season ended recently. And for me, that means there's, no sports for, 2 months. This is always the toughest part of the year. I just don't care about baseball. Y'all know that. FPSD saying Boulder's going to be booming. It's going to be the place to be. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And you want to play at Folsom. It's a beautiful stadium. We got more renovations coming. Rick George has teased about that in the future. Hopefully we can increase stadium capacity a little bit. It's a little tough with it being on campus, but it can be done. It can be done. And we are getting, that new scoreboard, which drove by last weekend. It's looking great. It's looking great. It's almost completed. Stevie Davey, good to see you. This is a great comment right here. Auburn hasn't been in this recruitment cycle as hard as CU has. The money is even. The seating is equal. It's now a fight for the best atmosphere. You said in one sentence what I've been trying to say for the first 24 minutes of this video. You're absolutely right, Stevie Davey. Yes. And Mike, bringing up a great point that I totally forgot to mention, that USC has lost 3, maybe 4 great ones, but they did have a great recruiting weekend still. Yes, and a lot of people, again, you see a lot of the hyperbole that people use when we get decommits or whatever. What's happening at Colorado? What's going on? You've seen people do that at USC or whatever. With USC, it's just different because it's like, if we lose a blue chip quarterback, we can just go get another one. That's just how they are, even in their bad years under, was it Clay Helton? I mean, they could recruit some really good quarterbacks. Other schools, Auburn, Colorado now, we can be in position to get some of these guys, but it's not like this luxury that we take for granted like USC has throughout their history, I feel like, because they have a great history of quarterbacks. Let's see what else. This whole process feels more confident than the Seton cycle Maybe because it's so public. I think so. Because, I mean, Seton, he visited at the beginning of the year, if I remember correctly. And then we just didn't really know. And then I think he came later towards the end of the season. But I think he visited Ohio State and Oregon afterwards. And it just kind of came out of nowhere again. I didn't think he was committing here. If you look at all the signs or whatnot, it just didn't seem like things were lining up that way. But you guys know how that played out. You can go back and watch it. You know, if you search probably Jordan C commitment party or something like that, you'll find a hilarious reaction from me with that. But now, as long as we got a puncher's chance, anything can happen with these guys. That's so true. FPSD, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It's the highlight of my Monday. Thank you very much. Outside of Chauncey Gooden committing, but that's why we're here. Can't get too excited. Nothing is on paper. A school could come in with a big bag. And yes, you have to always be looking over your shoulder until early National Signing Day hits for most of these guys. You're absolutely right. We saw we had some decommits last year. That's like, what the heck? But it does feel a little bit different this time around. And hopefully, you know, if we're able to keep 75%, 80, 90% of the guys that we have, that's great. All schools deal with some of those flips at the end, but I also hope FPSD that we can throw the bag at some of these other players as well, committed to other schools. They can flip to the Buffs. So you live and die by the sword. This is a heartless sport that we love with everything in our being. And that's what's going to make this December so interesting. And this is interesting too, because it sounds like the bag isn't an issue for this particular recruit. Yes, it sounds like we got the compensation there and ready. And I'm so happy of people. There's a narrative that's starting to change again with CU saying you don't really hear, well, they don't have the money. They don't have the money. They got no money. They got no NIL. You don't hear that anymore. You don't at all. We got some money to play with now. And you saw it in this year's transfer class. It was so much better proven talent that we brought in from the Power 4 level as opposed to the proven G5 talent we brought in last year. And in retrospect, sometimes that jump can just be a little bit tougher than anticipated. And I think that we know that, again, with USC having the privilege that they have, being USC, being in LA, all that, they can say, well, if we're out big, we can just go on to the next. We can get another blue chip guy. There are other schools that can do that, but I think CU realizes the unique opportunity here in the right fit with Julian Lewis being here. And I think it, as we saw this weekend, it just means more to us than some of these schools having him come here. And I mean, it would be pretty cool to step on campus and just have your own burger at the sink. That's a big deal, guys. Some of y'all who haven't been to Boulder, you got to get here. You got to go to the sink right across the street from campus, right there on the hill. Tasty, 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 classic place. And if you're walking in on campus and you got a burger named after you, I mean, that's cool. That is super cool. Now, it's not normally the thing that's probably going to tilt or, be the hair that breaks the camel's back, in terms of putting CU ahead of these other schools. But when you combine all these little moments, which I think is what On3 and Josh Newberg were getting at in their episode on the official visit weekend for CU yesterday, is that when you combine all these little family atmosphere moments, it adds up to something significant, So you can't just take this one part and say like, oh yeah, this is what's going to do it. But it's the fanfare. It's how the businesses came out. The people came out to meet him. Again, having Peggy there. I don't think USC has somebody like Peggy that they bring around. Maybe Auburn does, but I don't. Someone that's been a super fan literally their whole entire life. That's part of the recruiting process. This is like the genius side of Coach Prime with what they're doing. And I love the fact that you saw that they were at Avanti. If you haven't been to Avanti, it's one of the best places to go eat on Pearl Street, downtown Boulder, because they got all these little restaurants. It's kind of like a food court. You know, you can get different types of food down on the ground level, but then you can take the elevator up all the way to the rooftop level where they got the bar, all that, and you just get beautiful scenes of the Flatirons. It's been a little bit since I've been there, but I think you can also see campus from that rooftop as well. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous, and when you have everybody there that's on the staff, that's closely connected to the program, you can't recreate that. You can't. Yes, 77's bad. I think we're at 69 actually for the 2024, which is nice. Oh man, Sir Ken, appreciate the love, man. Hope you guys are doing okay. The Juju Burger did look good. Yeah, Mike. If we end up doing some more home and homes in the future, you end up coming out here. You'll have to go to the sink. Joey Richards in the house. What's up, Joey from Let's Talk Broncos? Man, Joey Richards, y'all go follow him on Twitter. He's a CU buff as well. We got to get together, talk some buffs. We got to talk some Broncos as well. Appreciate the kind support and the generosity. Thank you so much. Mad Titan, can't wait to get my shirt today. My Devin Rispris dog catcher t-shirt. That's going to be awesome. Exactly. What luxury USC has been underachievers last 15 years? It's literally just, it's LA. I really feel like that's what it is. And, you know, they have a great history of quarterbacks. But you're right. And in terms of playing for clicks, you know, they're kind of more of that school. Exactly. Why do you want to go to the stepchild school in their own state? You don't want to do that, okay? Just come out here, be the man. And Denver's not too far away either. Bradley. So on 3 for the first time, they said something good about it, and they said it looks good for Juju. It's a sign. I think so, man. You're seeing the national narrative start to change a little bit with Colorado overall, which is refreshing because, guys, you know, the dumbass hit pieces, they come out every week, and at this point, like, I'm just so numb to them because it's like, it's just clear people just do it for the clicks, they do it for the business, all this stuff. What I've loved to see from this program as of recently, there wasn't, you know, they just focused on what they could control. And you saw the comments that some of the official visitors said this weekend, just about how there's a lot of nonsense, but when you come here, you actually meet people, you talk with the coaches, you meet the players. It's just a different type of atmosphere. And that's what they need to be doing, is not paying any of that bullshit attention, focusing what they can do. Allow the fans to go back and forth with those guys, right? Like, I'm pretty sure Buff Nation on Twitter can stand up to any dumbass hit piece that's on there, right? But they need to focus and just create those genuine connections, spend their energy on that. And I think they get that, because it seems like this recruiting weekend was as perfect as it could have been. So now we just got to see what results come from it. I think there's going to be amazing results that come from it. That's what I think. Chris Milton, good to see you. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, when's the watch party start? Well, I did play some highlights a little bit ago, but if you guys would like to watch them again while I go through, let's go ahead and just do that. That'll be kind of fun. So we'll roll this after the ad. Hope you're doing well, Benzo. The Juju visit was just different. You're absolutely right. And I'll put myself right there. Hopefully that's not too big. But yeah, Chauncey Gooden, now up to 330 pounds. Oh my gosh. Insane. Now, Russ saying here, I don't think we'll have to wait long to know about Juju. He says he wants to be focused on his high school season, plus the early commit helps with other recruits. Yes. And when you're a program changing talent like him, you realize that. So he will make a decision. I don't think you'll see him playing this out very long. And this is a good point right here. The only issue with living in California is those taxes. The NIL split in half once Uncle Sam gets his cut. Yes. And even though rent in Boulder can be expensive, real estate in Boulder is so expensive, it is still a bargain compared to real estate and rent out in LA. That is for darn sure. So is it more expensive than Auburn, Alabama? It sure is. But again, do you want to save some money and just be unhappy, be in some bad, nasty, swampy, armpit feeling weather at the the stepchild school in your own state? Or do you just want to come here to Boulder and live in a mountainous paradise? Okay. Play football, go to the NFL, do your thing, win a lot of games here, win some awards, all that. Makes sense. Dave, I feel like you haven't been live in a year. Yeah, it's been a I go through these waves because again, like I learned a lot doing the channel during the season last year and just how much energy it takes because I usually go live 2-3 times a day during the season, and then coming on for the post games and all that stuff. So there's just different points in the off season where I need to just I need to do less of that. I've learned in order for me to have the endurance to be enjoying it, be enjoying it as much as I can, and like having fun. That's the premise to this whole thing is fun. If I'm not having fun, I shouldn't be doing it. But then, yeah, two, there's like, I feel like there's a little bit of a maximum capacity I have in terms of live streams throughout the year. So I want to save that more so for the season. Because during the season, I'm on more of like a set schedule, so to speak. And so I just try right now in the off season to get more content out, just kind of when I feel like it, when I can here, a little less structured. Thank you guys for sticking with me as I switch up the formats. But yeah, that's just how it is. I don't want to get burnt out. I want to prevent burnout as much as I can because this thing needs to remain fun. Ooh, Khalil Farrakhan just dropped his official visit photos. Let's show him some love. That's awesome. Maybe I'll pull that up on ooh. Yes, perfect timing. Perfect timing. That's what I'm talking about. When it becomes work, I'm out. Rawhide. Rawhide totally agrees. And guys, if you didn't catch my last show with Rawhide, you're missing out. You're missing out. Rawhide, he's a new man. He's a new man. I think some of you haters might be surprised, but we got some great shows coming for you. And Rawhide and I will definitely be getting together for the season regularly to celebrate, as long as he still puts up with me. Sorry, I haven't gotten your care package in the mail yet, Rawhide, but it is coming. I went to Crested Butte. It was great. Did some rafting, did some hiking, and then on Sunday, I forget that everybody else is coming back home from the mountains. So what should have been a 4-hour drive turned into like close to a 6.5, 7-hour drive. So I was a bit tired today. Slept in. Keith Tunstall saying, I'm more excited. Yes, I'm more excited too. Now I got us at 8-4, but I don't know, man. I might just be drinking that black and gold Kool-Aid and putting a bet on seeing if we go undefeated, what that would pay. But there is an interesting bet Both the Broncos and the Buffs are at 5.5. That's the line. So I might put a parlay on both of them because I feel like both of them are going to surprise. Sean Payton's never lost less than 7 games in his career. I just don't see that happening. Or won less than 7 games. Ooh, they got a redshirt 5-star 2-way coming. What? Okay, Duke 92, baby, Goyard, side tape. What a name. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and pull up some of the offers while I'm running some of this highlight tape. I mean, you see Chauncey Gooden just absolutely kicking booty on the tape. But let me see some of the offers that we've extended to the class of 2025. We got Bryce Underwood. Forget him. Hopefully we can get Juju Lewis. But a 2-way 5-star, who might that be? Y'all let me know in the comments who you think that might be. Hopefully we get that tight end, that in-state tight end. Number 1 in Colorado. I'd love to see us start to get the top commit every year in the state because they usually end up going pro. We don't have like 30 guys that go pro, but Colorado, we do have a little bit of really high quality talent, and we need to keep that in state. But Keith's saying here, I'm more excited about the offensive lineman being recruited than about the Juju recruiting news. And Keith, this is what I was saying on my official visit preview this past week, where I was saying, of course, Juju Lewis is the crown jewel of all this, but Chauncey Gooden is incredibly important for this team to get. And with how poor the offensive line played last year, it's really incredible, to be honest, that we're getting the guys that we are right now. Again, huge credit to Phil Loadholt. Phil, all my guys know their assignment's Loadholt. I'm going to get that tattooed on me if we go undefeated. There it is. Official. I'll happily do that. But yeah, we're building that pipeline to protect the quarterbacks. I mean, we saw the amazing plays from Shedeur last year, right? Even with kind of a broken offense, you saw how good he was, how well prepared he was, all those things. So there's a little bit more like evidence to go by of like, hey, like a quarterback can do good out here, right? It's tough to recruit offensive line when you were just ass last year, right? And I feel like we've had a substantial upgrade. The size, the type of athlete, again, that we are recruiting on the offensive line. No more 285-pound guys. No, you're not good enough. We're getting 330, 350, 360-pound guys that can move, that are athletic, that are nimble. We'll see what happens at this right tackle thing, at this right tackle position long term with the guys that we got right now. Again, I think that Khalil Benson and Ethan Boyd, like they will be fine fill-ins for this year. But I do think that guys like Peyton Kirkland or Zach Owen, some of these other guys that we're bringing in here, they could have a really high ceiling if that's the position that they're put at here. And of course, give Phil Loadholt that contract extension. He's on a 1-year deal. He put a bet on himself. And I think right now, in terms of the recruiting, it's really paying off for him. Now we got to make sure that everybody knows their assignments and that the play is really good during the season. But I am confident that we're going to get substantially much better offensive line play this year out of Phil Loadholt's group as opposed to Bill, none of my guys know their assignments, O'Boyle's group. Let's see what Dev's saying right here. Yeah, CU has 3 top 20 offensive line from the past 2 classes on the current roster, and we'll have a 4th with Chauncey Gooden when he steps on campus, Owens and Kirkland from 2023, and Seaton from 24. Yes. And again, like all these guys are just absolutely massive. And what's funny is that Jordan Seaton's probably the smallest out of all those guys in terms of like the weight, which I think is funny. But I mean, that dude has been absolutely crushing all the Redcon 1 available. He's put on a lot of weight. He's looking freaking ripped. See you, Buffs Dynasty. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Yes, I'm back with the Horns hat. You got to celebrate. You got to celebrate when you got some good news. Most definitely. Appreciate it. What year is Benson? He's a senior. Yes, I believe he and Ethan Boyd both are seniors. They could possibly maybe have like one of those extra COVID years. It's kind of like a gray area. I know like Shador could take that extra year if he wanted to. I don't expect him to. Excuse me. Tyler Brown should be around for a couple seasons after his dumb waiver was declined for some reason last year. And now the NCAA has like ruled against sitting out once you transfer. So I think Tyler Brown will be here for at least a couple years, if I remember correctly. We'll have to see if those guys have the extra waiver years to use or not. Not really sure. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these offers that we've had. Let's take a look at some of the defense, because this, of course, was a mainly offensive weekend, but let's take a look at the defensive line. We need some big guys. Elijah Griffin. This is somebody that I saw on Twitter, some people talking about, hoping that we can snag. We'll see if we can set up an official visit with him at some point. But yeah, I'm sure he has offers from every single college in the country right now. Wonder if there's anybody that we're considered warm with. Not yet. Hey, here's a guy we could throw a bag at. Tyson Terry from Omaha North. Just kidding. You can have him, Mike. 280 pounds. I'm just playing. But I would like to get some big beef up front after we got some of our I think some of our interior defensive linemen are real interesting, but probably the best or like most productive so far that are coming in this year's transfer class. I think they just have this year left. But yeah, I wish there was a way that 24/7 could filter if you're like if you're warm with a prospect. But we ain't got that. Let me refresh my Twitter feed. Then I'll probably close this down pretty soon unless you guys have some questions for me. But, man, I love talking with y'all. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Perfect timing. Here we go. Dude, Bo Nix does not suck. Don't do this. No. Don't do this to me. Respect my coast. Don't do that. Come on. Yeah. Oh, okay. Is this the guy from Carrollton? Yes, this is Juju Lewis's teammate that we've offered. Is it pronounced Zachy Helton? Zyke Helton? Zicky Helton? Zyke? Zakiel? Zykel? All right, I'm going to stop torturing you guys with different pronunciations. 6'3", 295 pounds, offensive tackle from Carrollton. I wonder what he's rated. 4-star? Okay, let's pull him up here. So it's great to see that we've offered him 3-star, 88 overall, 4-star composite. So that's really interesting. Carrollton, Georgia. Got varsity snaps as a freshman on the offensive line. Dang. Also plays D-line. All right. Let's see what we got here in 2024. So we got to add the Colorado official offer on here, but offers this year from Alabama, Appalachian State. Oh, no, he decommitted from Alabama in March. NC State, Syracuse. So a former Alabama commit. Oh, man. Come on here. Come on here. Now, I say he's an interior offensive lineman on here. 6'2", 320 pounds. So, Mr. Helton, you gotta update your Twitter bio, man. Gotta update your Twitter bio. Now, he is class of 2026, so this would be another year away. Nonetheless, would love to have him here. Absolutely. Maybe we should start building that Carrollton, Georgia pipeline, shall we? Ranked 17th in the country in the composite. Man, I love that. Exciting stuff. Benson's a junior. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for the reminder. So many players and years to remember. I forget half the time. Thank you so much, Chairman A. You've been so generous to the channel. Really appreciate it. It's always good to see you in here. Shout out to you, Dave. Now we have more pressure for CU to have a winning season. All other recruits can fall in line. Yes, we must win 8-4, 7-5 at minimum. At minimum, man. Oh man, and imagine if we can just blow that out of the water. Again, I got us at 8-4, but again, so some of the games that I got us losing or whatnot, it's like, man, if we just play consistent and disciplined. You heard Camden Dempsey talking about that on with DMVR, just about how undisciplined the team was last year. I'm glad he came out and said it, and the team acknowledged it. Like, it was so clear on the field. And if we can just play, we got the athletes, I feel. Now if we can just play more disciplined, play more together, and there shouldn't be a game that we're out of. And again, we were out of like a couple games last year. Let's see, Wazoo and Oregon. I'm trying to think of any other games that weren't competitive. When we went from pretty much every game in 2022 to not being competitive to 80% of our games being competitive this past year, I would expect every single game at the very least to be competitive or close. And hey, who's to say what happens when it's a close game and you got two under center that hopefully, my hope and my expectation is that he's going to be protected much better and we're going to be able to run the ball. Just like that film room I did like a week or so ago. Like some of those plays, like designed well, the holes right there. But again, when you got a guy that's probably better suited playing fullback than interior guard, those plays just are going to go nowhere. But I totally agree with you, Chairman A. Like, this is, as the program has said themselves, this is the year of expectation. And again, everything kind of on top of what we had last year outside of beating CSU and Nebraska. Coming into the season, I saw as just gravy, right? We won our money. We got the over, but from where the team started and where we finished it, that was disappointing. This year, I feel like it's just you got the right guys in place. You got the right guys in place. You got a leadership structure that wasn't here last year with the team, and that is so huge. That's so huge. A lot of people might overlook some of those like locker room or team chemistry things, but I think it was so true. No one really felt as if they could establish themselves as a leader when you got 90% of the team being new. It's totally different now. And we got the coaches in here that want to be here. And we got Devin Rispris coming here. Sko Buffs Daily, hope you're doing well. Y'all go give him a shout on Twitter as well. Thank you for the love. I gotta text you back really, Flawed. I don't know if you got in here, but I was on the road for like 7 hours yesterday, coming home from the mountains. So I owe you a text right now. I'm gonna do it. Hi. Oh, dang it! I missed a text from you in May. I'll write you a description. We got a collaboration coming out, y'all. Me and Really Flawed, so be on the lookout for that. Maestro, thank you. Good to see you from Brooklyn. I need to make it out to New York sometime. It's been a long time since I've been in New York. Do you think they will have an unprecedented amount of packages for the massive overhaul at wide receiver and running back? That's interesting. I'm definitely curious to hear what more so like you real football gurus think about this, because personally, I would value a lot of continuity and just a smaller rotation, so that everybody's very comfortable with their role, with the plays. And yeah, like I probably would want to see at max like 6 receivers in that rotating group, including Travis Hunter. I know that a lot of people are saying, hey, Draylon, Michael, or Cam Michael, like those guys are going to get playing time, baby T.O. It's hard for me to see all those guys getting significant amounts of snaps, but I would imagine like maybe if we're beating some teams pretty bad in the second half, that's when you can start to see guys like Draylon Miller and Cam Michael getting more snaps. I would imagine that there could be some interesting plays in which we bring them in. And I hope that we're not running any Wildcat, though. When you got Shador, there's no reason to run any Wildcat. That I feel like that's just a loss on whatever play that is if you got 2 off the field. Since when are you a better team with 2 off the field or out of the play than with him involved in the play, right? But I don't want to see too much of the ball spreading around. But I know that wide receivers, running back, I feel like we'll have a fine rotation. You'll probably see 2 of those guys, Dallin Hayden and Isaiah Gustive, the main 2 guys. And then after that, we might sprinkle in Michael Welsh. I saw that Jake Schwanitz had Michael Welsh as the starting running back on his predicted depth chart last week. I thought that was very interesting. But I would like to keep the rotations a little small, and then if there's any injuries, you can kind of fill in as needed. Oh, sweet. My video releases today. Wonderful. We spent some time talking Broncos. We spent some time talking some Steelers, some Russell Wilson. I've been bummed to hear about the news about Justin Fields. That doesn't seem like he's doing very well. What's up with that? Hopefully Justin Fields can get it together. I would love for Charlie to get some touches as well. I just don't foresee many. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news. But, I mean, who's to say? Who's to say he doesn't surprise me and whatnot? All right, guys, I'm going to shut this thing down. This was a wonderful hour, a wonderful commitment party. Chauncey Gooden, welcome to the Buffs. Another 330-pound lineman that's going to be here in 2025. Don't flip. You sound like you're locked in, right? Now, Talon Chandler sounded like he was locked in, but, it is what it is. I'm expecting different from you, Chauncey. I'm expecting you to be the guy. Make sure we get a clean sweep with the rest of the guys that visited with you this weekend. Please. Can't let Peggy go out like that, okay? Got to let her go out on top. Imagine winning that Big 12 championship this year and hoisting her on the field like Rudy. Because at the end of the day, Peggy is way more historically significant than Rudy ever will be. All right, guys, thank you so much. Smash that like on the way out. Subscribe. Go Buffs.